This thin man is so creepy, daring to harass innocent women in broad daylight. It turns out he's a robber, walking towards the cashier with a sleazy expression on his face. What's your name? He asks. The louder you scream, the more excited I get. He tears open the woman's coat, and just then, a loud explosion is heard from behind. A handsome figure appears at the supermarket entrance. It turns out that 10 minutes ago, a global zombie virus outbreak had occurred. Lu Xiaokuan, the lone survivor fighting zombies on the battlefield, had been trapped in the laboratory. Frustrated with the stupid laboratory, he had been ready to sacrifice himself by using explosives to kill the zombies. However, a surge of energy had come from the laboratory after the explosion, which unexpectedly activated the time reversal system and transported him back 10 minutes before the outbreak. As a result, he disappeared from the laboratory and reappeared in a supermarket where a group of people were screaming and running out in panic. A man with a gun was robbing the cashier, demanding all the passwords. The cashier, terrified, opened the drawer and revealed the money, hoping the man would leave her unharmed. However, the robber was also eyeing her in a lecherous manner, thinking he could have her after taking the money. The beautiful woman was frightened and sat down, shouting for someone to help her. The sleazy robber replied, "The more you shout, the more excited I get." He then tore open her coat, and just then, another explosion was heard from behind. That sound is indeed real, I thought. I have actually traveled back to before the end of the world. With a beep, the system began its countdown. I only had 10 minutes. Looking at the supermarket in front of me, filled with food, cigarettes, and daily necessities, I had my space ring, and I knew exactly where the warehouse was. I wanted all of these things. Being able to scavenge these items in the end times is very precious. Seeing me, the thugs immediately called out to stop me. They thought I had a fake gun on my waist to scare them, and even wanted to rob me. What a joke. The next second, a bullet flew past his head, and I told him to get lost. I don't have time to chat with you. Scared, he kneeled and begged for mercy. I knocked him out with a palm strike. I walked towards the beautiful woman from earlier and asked her where the warehouse was. She innocently pointed over there, and I went straight to the warehouse. I tossed her a hairpin and told her if she survived in the future, I could grant her a request. Time was running out, so I opened the warehouse and saw it was filled with supplies. It was a stroke of luck. I immediately took out my storage ring and absorbed all of the supplies into it. With the collection complete, I returned to the end of the world. After searching for supplies in the supermarket, a temporal vortex appeared, and I traveled back again. This is the Fallen Leaf City after the apocalypse, already filled with blood and violence. In one street, two thugs were molesting a girl, planning to sell her as a commodity after a few days for food. The girl begged for mercy, but the thugs continued to advance towards her. Suddenly, a burst of energy appeared, and it was me who had traveled back. This line of dialogue sounded familiar. The girl was relieved to see me and begged me to save her and take her away. I recognized her as the beautiful girl who had given me the warehouse key in the supermarket. I offered to help her once and asked if she was ready now. The two thugs were arrogant and asked who I was, saying that I had no right to interfere with their business. As an awakened one, I held two knives and exuded a strong aura, and the thugs immediately begged for mercy and apologized. Without a word, I used my thunder air slash that I've been practicing for 2.5 years and instantly pierced through the two people. They died on the spot, leaving only the confused girl looking at me with awe. "You're amazing," she exclaimed. "Have you forgotten me?" I explained. "Before the apocalypse, I saved you in the supermarket once, and you had a hair clip." It was only then that the girl remembered and said, "You're him." There was no time for more explanations. Since I had promised to fulfill her request, I had to take her with me. However, she shouted, "Wait, can you save my boyfriend Zhou? She explained that he owed the Axe Gang a high-interest loan and were being hunted. They had arranged to meet here, but he had not shown up yet. I sneered and replied, "I only agreed to one request, and I'm almost certain that your boyfriend has sold you. He won't come looking for you." But the girl firmly believed that her boyfriend wouldn't betray her. Suddenly, a voice sounded, "Where is he? Where did he go?" I turned to see that it was the leader of the Axe Gang with several of his men. The girl happily called out, "Zhou Jia, I'm here." Zhou Jia responded to Susan, "It's great that you're here." Suddenly, he turned around and said to the gang leader, "I found my girlfriend. She is still clean. Look, how much food can I get after paying off the debt?" Susan was shocked to hear this. "What are you talking about, Zhou Jia? Are you joking?" The bald man said with a lecherous face, "Your boyfriend is not joking. He sold you, as long as I give you a bag of bread." At this point, Susan could no longer control her tears. "You bastard, you keep saying you love me, but you're thinking about trading me for a loaf of bread." On the other hand, Zhou Jia looked pleased with himself. "I saved you for this day. I haven't touched you all this time, so you could be sold for a good price." The bald man approached Susan, pretending to be kind. "Don't be sad for this scum. Come to my embrace. I'll take good care of you." Unable to bear it any longer, I stepped forward and said, "I don't care about your grudges, but I have to take her with me today." One of the gang members shouted, "You little punk, are you looking for death? Our boss is the leader of the Axe Gang." Before he could finish, I threw a flying knife at him, and he fell to the ground with a thump. "If you don't leave now, you'll all die here," I warned them. The gang leader was angry. "Who are you trying to scare? I'm also an awakened one. This is my territory. Hand over the woman behind you, and I'll make your death easier." Susan was scared and panicked. "Just hand me over. I don't want to get you involved." I turned around, looking smug, and said, "Remember one thing. In this dog-eat-dog world, I, Lu Xiaokuan, am the only person who keeps their promises. this. The bald man looked confident, claiming to be a top-tier awakened one. An ordinary knife can't penetrate my body. I picked up a small knife and lightly waved it. The bald man died straight away, stunning everyone. I stood up and completed a double kill, leaving Zhou Jie begging for mercy. I asked Susan what to do with him, and after some thought, she decided to let him go, swearing never to see him again. After all, he had saved her once before. Zhou Jie, moved by Susan's mercy, promised never to do such things again and ran away. Having witnessed the cruelty of the apocalypse too many times, I couldn't let such a person go, for fear that he would continue to harm others. I then extended my finger and released a sword aura, hitting Zhou Jie, but not killing him. Instead, I left a trace of air energy within him so that he could die at any time if I wished. Suddenly, a golden light flew towards me, and I caught it. The super purification system is now bound. Congratulations on acquiring 2 points of evolution. A system? Fantastic. It turns out I had acquired an evolution system. It seems that the research institute had many secrets, and I must assemble a team and go back soon. This apocalypse is becoming more and more interesting. Susan looked puzzled, asking me what had happened. I came to my senses and told her that I was fine, and that she could leave now, feeling safe. I have something to do, I said, but Susan grabbed me, saying, wait, aren't you taking me with you? I'm willing to do anything for you. I want to follow you. I only promise to save you, not to take you with me. What can you do for me? I asked. Susan slowly took off her clothes and asked, is this enough? I blushed and nervously reached out my hand. What could make these beautiful women look so dazed and willing to crawl on the ground? It's food. In this apocalypse, food is more important than life itself. A rich man could throw a rotten apple and people would fight for it. My name is Liu Xiaoquan, and I unintentionally saved a beautiful woman named Susan. She wanted to repay me with her body, but I declined. I helped her put her clothes back on and said, come with me. We walked down a bustling street where women were calling out to me and offering to do anything for a bag of bread. On the other side, a woman was crawling on the ground with her neck tied up, and a fat man had just thrown an apple and said it was terrible. As soon as the passers-by saw it, they rushed over and grabbed the rotten apples on the ground. I told Susan that this is Princess Street, a paradise for the rich and a hell for the poor. As long as you have money, you can buy anything. I took Susan to the auction house where people were immersed in a drunken life. Various slogans were shouted: Immortal Battle Squad, hiring people for the South Town, and the need for workers to sweep the mines in the west of Fallen Leaf City. Susan asked me with suspicion what we were doing here, as the people here were so scary. We had come out of the city to replenish our supplies. I approached a girl and asked her to take us to the auction house, as I wanted to sell something. Who would have thought that they looked down on us and called us poor mercenaries who sold wives? One of the women said she would not take us, but I took out a few pieces of chocolate from my waist and asked who could lead us to auction hall number 5. At this point, several beautiful women came to me with their eyes glazed over, vying for my attention. They all wanted me to choose them, as one had a good attitude, another had a loud voice, and another had 36 decibels. I looked at them and decided to choose the one who seemed the most surprised and gave her the chocolate, asking her to take my friend to wash up and change into suitable clothes. Happiness had come suddenly. In this apocalypse, food is worth more than anything else. They took my friend Susan to wash up and put on suitable clothes. Susan approached me and said, Kun brother, it's too much trouble for you. I lifted Susan's chin and said, my people must wear the best and use the best. Susan blushed and said, I'm so happy that Kunkin says I'm his person. At that moment, the auctioneer shouted, congratulations. The leader of the armed storm squad has bought 3 mutated zombies for 100,000 bullets. The crystals in the zombies' brains can make ordinary people become awakened ones, which caused people to rush to grab them. Anything can be auctioned off as long as there is profit. This is the end of the world. Next up for auction is an armored truck refitted by the top mechanical master, Turtle Hermit. It has a starting price of 1 million bullets and can withstand attacks from third-order awakened ones while carrying 20 people, making it a mobile fortress. Finally, the thing I wanted had come. The environment outside the city is harsh, and zombies roam freely, so we need a suitable vehicle. A man shouted, Meteor Annihilation Squad offers 1 million bullets. Another member from the Rampage Squad bid 1.2 million. A bald guy offered 1.5 million. Several people started to argue, and it turned into a mess. Suddenly, another voice was heard. Can you fight well? What's the use of being able to fight? You need to have power when you're in the game. I offer 2 million. I want this tank. No one can stop me, not even Jesus. Everyone was shocked to see that it was Curly Hair Fire Monkey, the second in command of the Rampage Squad in Fallen Leaf City. He not only has a background, but he is also a second stage top-tier awakener. People knew not to mess with him. Curly Hair walked up to the stage and said to the girl, announce the results already. Just as the auctioneer was about to announce, I offer 3 million, someone said. Everyone was shocked. These 3 million bullets can buy a small squad. Where did this rich kid come from? Even if you have money, you can't be so wasteful. Curly Hair got angry and shouted, are you deliberately picking a fight? Are you bored of living? I extended my hand in a gesture of international friendship and greeted him. If you can't afford the price, then get the hell out of here. Don't talk nonsense. Curly Hair angrily raised his offer to 3.1 million. I offer 4 million, 4.1 million, 5 million, 5.1 million. I offer 6 million. The crowd in the auction room was once again stunned. Is this guy crazy? 6 million bullets already exceed the the actual price of this car. They have forced curly hair to a point where he can't back down. The little brother beside him quickly grabbed the curly-haired boss and said, "We can't raise the price anymore. The team leader will be angry if we go back like this." The curly-haired boss shouted, "Get lost. I don't believe I can't handle this little punk today." He slowly walked towards a person. "Master Turtle, our Furious Battle team can help you with one thing. Sell this truck to me," he said. The old man agreed immediately. "The strength of the Furious Battle team is well known," said the curly-haired boss with a proud face. "Money means nothing in the apocalypse. Strength is everything. Even Jesus couldn't take away this truck. That's what I'm saying." I walked up slowly and said, "You think you're so great, Master Turtle? I have something you'll be interested in." Master Turtle's eyes widened, and he started to bleed from his nose. "This is indeed a good thing," he said. The curly-haired boss tried to bribe him, but I took out a set of 2023 real toys, the same model as Master Turtle's idol, Odo. Master Turtle was overjoyed, and I brought out a bunch more. "I've heard that you like collecting these toys," I said. Master Turtle looked apologetically at the curly-haired boss and said, "I'm sorry. Please forgive an old man's longing for his past idol." He then turned to me and said, "Young man, you have a bright future ahead of you. I have my eye on you." Everyone was amazed. He exchanged a few small toys for a super-armed truck. He hit the jackpot, they exclaimed. Indeed, men like to learn from their teachers from childhood to adulthood. But Curly secretly told his subordinates to have more people guarding outside to prevent the boy from escaping. At this time, the auctioneer on stage shouted, "Next auction item, please." The crowd looked surprised as a beautiful and sexy red-haired girl appeared on stage, who was also a very rare sensing type awakened. She could sense the tracks of madmen within a radius of hundreds of kilometers and reduced the team's casualty rate by 90%. Curly's mouth watered as he thought to himself, "This is the kind of woman I like, with combat power. If I want to survive outside, a sensing type awakened is essential. I must acquire her." The crowd below cheered, saying, "This is amazing. Not only can we use her at night, but we can also fight monsters during the day." The beautiful woman snatched the microphone and said, "I volunteered for this auction, but I have a very important condition besides having enough ammunition." The people below became impatient, saying, "This girl is quite individual. Not only do I have powerful ammunition, but I am also very fierce. Hurry up and say the other condition." The beautiful woman said, "The condition is to wipe out the Furious Battle Group." The crowd was shocked to hear this. This woman is crazy. Even if she gives it away for free, no one dares to take it. The Furious Battle Group is one of the 3 major battle groups in Fallen Leaf City, and it's very powerful. Curly laughed loudly and said, "I remember now. This girl is from the White Feather Battle Group. The Furious Battle Group ambushed them outside the city some time ago and wiped them all out. She survived only because she was injured and couldn't leave the city. It seems she wants revenge." Faced with the powerful Furious Battle Group, the crowd expressed that this girl couldn't handle it. "I'll offer 10 million bullets." I hold Susan's hand. "Today, I'll let you experience the feeling of being a wealthy bidder." Curly-haired guy takes out a gun from his pocket. "Again, aren't you tired of this? Everyone, today is a personal grudge between me and this guy. No one else should interfere." Everyone quickly flees upon seeing the situation, daring to act in an auction house. No wonder he's the second in command of the Furious Battle Group. Curly-haired guy directly shoots a bullet towards me. I dodge the attack by sidestepping. I flash behind curly-haired guy. "Your bullet is too slow. Looks like you'll have to go collect your lunchbox from the film set today." The henchmen beside him quickly pick up their guns. "Let our boss go and we'll spare your life." Curly-haired guy is afraid of losing face in front of his subordinates. "You dare to touch me and you'll see what happens." I say, "Let's try it out then." "This is what you said." I didn't say anything. Immediately, I gently move my finger and curly-haired guy falls to the ground. Everyone heard it. He provoked me to attack. The people see that their boss has fallen. They pick up their machine guns and shoot at me. I easily dodge the bullets left and right. With lightning speed, I punch and kick. For the sake of the auction's reputation, I spare their lives for now. I extend my hand towards the red-haired beauty and say, "Other than me, I doubt anyone else will take you in, right? Come with me." Suddenly, Susan steps forward and grabs her. She's with Little Quinn now. She's one of us. Looks like my squad is gaining another fierce warrior. This man is not human. For the sake of a loaf of bread, he sold his girlfriend to a bald guy. Now, in order to get 5 packs of instant noodles, he betrayed her again. The man's name is Zhou Jie, and he is in the fierce battle with him, and we can take them by surprise. Red Hair pointed at Zhou Jie and said, "If it succeeds, you will be rewarded with 5 packs of instant noodles. If it fails, I will take your kidney." The scene shifted, and I ran with Susan and the girl I bought yesterday. The girl I bought for a high price was useful. She activated my perception ability and instantly emitted energy from myself to the surroundings, revealing the last 3 pursuers of the fierce battle team. They were on the left side of the alley. I went and took them down in a flash. With awakened perception ability fighters by my side, it was as if we had X-ray vision. The beauty said that the fierce battle team had offered a hefty sum and issued a citywide wanted order. What should we do next? I smiled and said, "They can't kill me. I'll make them pay the price." At this time, Susan shyly told me that her ex-boyfriend Zhou Jie Jia suddenly wanted to meet her and apologize. I didn't want to go. I shrugged and said, he must be here for the reward. It's a good opportunity to take care of him. You'll know when the time comes. As expected, Zhou Jia arrived as promised. You guys finally came. Zhou Jia reached out his paw to Susan. Can you forgive me this once? Give me another chance. Susan pushed him away. Step back behind me. Zhou Jia showed an evil expression. So, you follow this kid. Too bad he's going to die today. Suddenly a group of people rushed up. We've been looking for you, kid. It was so hard to find you. This time, let's see where you can run. You're going to die today. Susan saw the situation was not good and tears instantly streamed down her face. You've been using me all along. Zhou Jia, on the other hand, looked proud. Susan, I know your weakness too well. You can only cry and do nothing else. You deserve to be deceived by me. I smirked. Who said he couldn't do anything? Gathering you all together was a great achievement. This time, I'll wipe you out completely. Red Hair and others laughed out loud, asking if I was scared. Do you think our fierce battle team is a bunch of pushovers? I snapped my fingers with my left hand. Next, let me show you the gift I've prepared for you. I cooperated well with the beauty. The beauty pressed the remote control. Suddenly, there was a loud explosion. Red Hair shouted that there was an ambush and to run. Actually, the bomb had already been prepared by me and the beauty. You can't escape. Explode them all for me. A series of explosions swept through and the little rats were blown to pieces. Zhou Jia, Susan's ex-boyfriend, was stunned. I looked at him and said, it's your turn now. I knew you weren't a good person long ago. Just go and collect your boxed meal. Zhou Jia was scared and begged for mercy, sitting on the ground. Suddenly, Susan shouted, wait a minute, do you still want to spare his life this time? Zhou Jia knelt down and held Susan's hand. Please, beg Kun to spare me. I thought Susan's kindness would spare his life. But then, Susan pulled out a toy knife and stabbed Zhou Jia directly. You're right, I was weak before, but not anymore. Thanks for teaching me a lesson. Zhou Jia fell down and took his boxed meal.